Hi everyone, Jacob Melton back here with West Michigan weather just after 1:30 p.m. on this Monday afternoon. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect. This is going to be in effect for portions of Mason, Oceana, and Muskegon County. And this severe thunderstorm warning is going to be in place until 2:30 p.m. And this warning is for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. I am also joined by Jonah and Bryce, who are out in the field ready, awaiting these storms as they begin to enter West Michigan. But as you can see, we have a new severe thunderstorm warning, and that is why we are coming on the air now. Now, this is the anticipated main round of storms. If you remember, we were on air earlier this morning for some secondary batch of storms earlier across southwest Michigan. That was not the main round. This is the main round beginning to approach now. And again, this is a new severe thunderstorm warning for portions of Mason, Oceana, and Muskegon counties for the potential 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. Some locations that are in this warning include the Pentwater area. They include the Ware area, Walkerville, Colfax, Elbridge, Hart, Shelby Township, Ferry, the Hesperia area, New Era, Rothbury, Whitehall. We also have Twin Wake, the Holton area, Dalton, North Muskegon. This also does include the city of Muskegon, also Norton Shores, Roosevelt Park, Fruitport, Sullivan, Moreland, the Ravenna area, and Casnovia. Again, this is a new severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect. It goes until 2:30 p.m. So again, I'll go ahead and read off the warning text. This was issued at 1:29 p.m. from the National Weather Service in Grand Rapids. This is a severe thunderstorm warning for southern Mason County, Muskegon County, and also Oceana County. And again, it goes until 2:30 p.m. At 1:28 p.m., severe thunderstorms were located along a line extending from 7 miles northwest of Mears State Park to 6 miles southwest of Silver Lake State Park to 20 miles west of the Montague area, moving to the east at 40 miles per hour. Hazard with this is going to be 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. Source on this is radar indicated. Impact hail damage to vehicles is expected. Expect wind damage to roofs, siding, and also trees. Excuse me. Locations impacted include Muskegon, Hart, Shelby, Muskegon Heights. We also have Roosevelt Park, North Muskegon, Whitehall, the Montague area, Wakewood Club, the Ravenna area, Fruitport, the Hesperia area, Pentwater, Mears State Park, Mears, Silver Lake State Park, Norton Shores, Dalton, Holton, and Sullivan. If you're in any of the locations I just called out just now for your protection, move into your room on the lowest floor of a building. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to get inside that sturdy structure, preferably on the lower floors if you can get there. Stay away from those windows and let this storm roll on by. We'll take a look at some other radar products now. As you can see right now, we are on the reflectivity, how hard is it raining mode. We're going to go over the velocity, which is a which way the wind is blowing mode. In case you're wondering what this product is, this shows the wind direction and speed. The reds you are looking at, that is blowing away from the radar in Kent County, and the greens are blowing towards the radar. And now it might not look like there's anything too impressive here right now, but this is also looking about 7,000 feet up. So anything that's ongoing below 7,000 feet from the surface, this radar is not seeing. So just because it don't look impressive at 7,000 feet does not mean there's not strong winds down at the surface currently over the lake, but is it heading in the general direction of southern Mason, Oceana, and Muskegon counties. That is why we have the severe thunderstorm warning in effect, and that is something we will be continuing to monitor as it continues to move on shore. Now, the warning did state it is moving east. I do think there is a little bit of a southeasterly component to it. We'll go back to reflectivity, and then I'll do a storm track on it. Oops, hold on, let me turn that off. There we go. So tracking this off, we'll go east-southeast. Let me double check the speed on that. It was moving east at 40. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do at 40 miles per hour. It's going to take it into the following locations. It's going to take it into Shelby at around 2 o'clock p.m., the New Era area at around 2:02 p.m. Let me actually move this over to a separate view. There we go. It's going to take it into Ferry at 2:11 p.m., Hesperia at 2:25 p.m. We have the Holton area at 2:27 p.m. This is going to be, and then also Fremont, and this is a heads up for Newaygo County. Severe thunderstorm warnings may eventually become required for Newaygo County as well. Fremont at 2:34 p.m. We have Bridgeton at 2:40 p.m. White Cloud at 2:45 p.m. Newaygo at 2:46 p.m. and Ashland at 2:50 p.m. A few more locations. We have Stanwood at 3:09 p.m. The Morley area at 3:11 p.m. Howard City at 3:11 p.m. as well. Potentially Sand Lake at 3:11 p.m. Cedar Springs at 3:12 p.m. We have Lakeview at 3:24 p.m. Remus at 3:32 p.m. Greenville at 3:35 p.m. The Millbrook area at 3:37 p.m. Belding at 3:40 p.m. and also Sydney at 3:41 p.m. Again, that is assuming an east-southeasterly storm motion. I know the warning says east, but I do feel it has a little bit of a southeasterly component of motion to it. But again, this is a new severe thunderstorm warning. Again, that's in effect for Southern Mason, Oceana, and Muskegon counties. This does go, again, until 2:30 p.m., so a little less than an hour. In addition to the potential of damaging winds and quarter-size hail, we have heavy rainfall ongoing with these storms, and also and frequent cloud-to-ground lightning will be possible with these storms as well. This is currently the only severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect. If we zoom out, this is associated with a whole complex of showers and thunderstorms that will continue to move to the southeast across the area for the rest of the afternoon and evening. We do have a severe thunderstorm watch. Let me actually turn radar off for a second. We do have a severe thunderstorm watch that is in effect for all of our West Michigan counties. Includes the US 10 corridor, I-96 corridor, I-94 corridor, down to the US 12 corridor. Includes all of West Michigan. This severe thunderstorm watch, severe thunderstorm watch is in effect until 8 o'clock p.m. So at least till 8 o'clock p.m. we will have the potential for severe weather across the area. Now, after this round of storms works through, it is possible that that we may have additional storms tonight, and they could be on the strong and the severe side, but that's going to depend on what happens with this round, how the environment, if it can recover. And this is a very complex pattern we are in, so I wouldn't guarantee additional severe weather later this evening into tonight, but just something to be aware of. But we do a severe thunderstorm watch that is in effect, again, for all of West Michigan until 8 p.m. But our only severe thunderstorm warning right now is for Southern Mason, so south of Ludington. If you're in Custer, Fountain, Free Soil Township, this does not concern you. You're just right now seeing heavy rain, moderate to maybe heavy rainfall, some rumbles of thunder, but nothing currently severe. If you are also in Free Soil Township, again, if you're in Peacock, if you're in Baldwin, Reed City, Harrison, over towards Clare, there is currently not anything concerning in those areas. The strongest storms are so far remaining to your west, but you're still in the severe thunderstorm watch. So as a course of least regret, I would just remain weather aware over the next few hours nonetheless, just as the course of least regret. But as of right now, at least with this particular round, it does look like the strongest storms may stay off to your west. But again, for the rest of West Michigan, especially the further west you go, you may see more in the way of severe weather from this round as it continues to move off, generally to the southeast. Although we do have some warnings of an easterly motion, so we'll have to keep an eye on that as well. Again, focusing on our severe thunderstorm warning, though, that is why we are on the air. The strongest part of this storm is moving on shore now, so Hart, Shelby Township, New Era, Rothbury, you're likely noticing things start to pick up. In addition to the hail, in addition to the damaging wind threat, we are monitoring the hail potential as well. Again, we do have the potential for quarter-size hail with this storm. And taking a look at Hail Tracker, I will say I'm not seeing a very strong signal for hail, at least with this particular scan, but we are seeing some signals of maybe some small hail that be moving on shore now. Near the Pentwater, Hart, Shelby Township, and New Era areas. We'll zoom in a little bit. See, maybe near the West Camp, Little Point, Sable area over towards Silver Lake State Park is where that would be moving through. Frenchtown and Pentwater as well, as these storms continue to move off to, we'll say, the east-southeast. Again, taking a look at our wind velocities, we're not really seeing, maybe a little bit. Let me take a look at rotation tracker on that. Okay, not a very strong signal. We were thought maybe a little bit of weak rotation, or it could be a downburst signature as well. Again, we are looking higher up from the Grand Rapids radar. Let me take a look. And we're not really in the best range from Green Bay either. Okay. Just taking a look at surrounding radars, taking a look at the this could be the Milwaukee radar. At least this is looking a bit higher up, showing a bit more in the way of wind, but that's, again, not really seeing, but we are looking at higher up from these radars. So just because we're not seeing anything extremely impressive at like 7,000 feet off the ground, for example, that does not mean, or 6,000 feet, that does not mean down at the surface there's not 40, 50, 60 mile an hour winds ongoing. So if you are watching in Oceana County, Southern Mason, especially Oceana and Muskegon counties as these storms move in, if you can let us know what's going on, that would be greatly appreciated. You can let us know in chat or on our website at www.westmichiganweather.net, or you can let us know in our social media posts what's going on with these storms as they continue to work through the area. We would greatly appreciate any storm reports if you can do so safely, along with any damage reports if there does happen to be damage as these storms continue to work their way through the area. Yeah, we're watching this section of the line. There are special marine warnings as well. There's not anything really. This may not look all that too impressive on radar, but we do have special marine warnings ahead of these storms as well. Stretching from Whitehall down to St. Joseph. This is for potential 49 knot winds, so that would be around 55, 60 miles an hour possible winds with those, and also water spout possible tag as well. So they are watching for the potential water spouts with this as well. Same goes for from St. Joseph down to Michigan City, Indiana. This special marine warning is in effect for 50 knot winds and water spout possible, and also hail greater than 3/4 of an inch in diameter. In case you're wondering what a special marine warning is, that is effectively a severe thunderstorm warning for the water. That's what those special marine warnings are for. It's just effectively a severe thunderstorm warning for the water. So if you are out boating, you need to be finding a safe harbor as these storms continue to move in. Again, on the left side of the screen, we do have Jonah and Bryce. They are out in the field today as these storms begin to approach West Michigan. They will be intercepting these storms as they do begin to approach. Taking a look at velocity on the rest of these storms. Again, I'm not really seeing an impressive signal looking at velocities so far. Now, that does not mean there's not gusty winds moving in. It's just that they may not necessarily be severe levels just yet. And we'll have to keep an eye on that. It is possible as they move back on land that we may see a little bit of re-strengthening if they do move on land with the instability in place across the area. Now, it is also possible that the rain and thunderstorms from this morning, taking a look behind the scenes at mesoanalysis, taking a look at that, let me hold that up behind the scenes real quick. And taking a look at mesoanalysis, we do have some surface-based cape beginning to work its way through around the order of around 1,000 to 2,000, up to maybe 2,500, 3,000 across southwest lower Michigan. Now, however, there is also signs that we may have a little bit of a surface-based capping inversion as well. Now, that might not get rid of the severe potential, but that might limit it just a little bit as well. I do not think it's going to negate the severe potential, neither does the National Weather Service. That is why we have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. However, the better environment so far for severe weather might be setting up over the lake and to our west across Wisconsin and Illinois. Because across Wisconsin and Illinois, we've had tornado warnings, including what potentially could have been a rather strong tornado, potentially a little bit earlier near the Appleton, Wisconsin area. Saw some quite impressive radar signatures over there earlier. So, again, the ratings for that would have to be determined by the National Weather Service in Green Bay, but just know that we did have, could have been a decent tornado, unfortunately, near the Appleton, Wisconsin area earlier, just a little bit ago. So, again, and we do have the low end potential as well. I do think our main threat locally is going to be damaging winds. But on the severe thunderstorm watch, in fact, I could pull up our probabilities. The probability of 2 or more tornadoes is low at 20%, but it is not 0. So I can't rule out 1 or 2 brief spin-up type tornadoes. I do not think they're going to be strong tornadoes or anything like that. Our environment is not as favorable for that as it was out west. And we also have probability of 10 or more severe wind events. They have that as high at 70%. And probability of 1 or more wind events greater than 65 knots, that's around or greater than 75 miles per hour, that is moderate at 60%. So there is the possibility we may still have a few wind gusts potentially significant or 75 miles per hour or greater. And if that does become the case, we would start to see destructive tags severe thunderstorm warnings be issued. At that point, you would want to treat them like tornado warnings. So just something to be aware of. That potential is still there this afternoon and into early this evening. As for hail, the probability of 10 or more severe hail events is moderate at 40%. And the probability of 1 or more hailstones greater than 2 inches in diameter is moderate at 30%. So some concerns for hail as well with some of these storms, particularly these multicellular, these kind of supercellular multicell structures. That would be a little bit more of a hail concern than the main line. As for the line, that would be more of a damaging wind threat with some potential for maybe small hail. But again, we're going to focus back on our severe thunderstorm warning. That is why we have. That is why we are on with you here just after 1:50 p.m. on this Monday afternoon. Is our severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect for portions of southern Mason County, along with all of Oceana County and all of Muskegon County. And again, that is going to be for wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour and quarter-size hail. Taking a look at velocity again, we may be seeing a potential wind signal. Again, not the most impressive wind signal out there, but a wind signal nonetheless. Near the Hart area, near Shelby Township, near Elbridge and Ferry. Again, we're only probing 20 to 30 mile an hour winds, but that is also 5,000 feet from the radar site. So just because we're not seeing that impressive wind up here does not mean there's not higher wind gusts at the surface. So if you're in Hart, you're in Elbridge, you're in Ferry, you're in New Era, Shelby Township, looping this is going to be heading in the direction of Walkerville, Hesperia, and Colfax as well. Just something to definitely be aware of is that we still have the potential for damaging winds as these storms continue to approach. And then also maybe some gusty winds back through Shelby Township heading into the New Era and Rothbury areas. Pentwater, you might have had some gusty winds as well. I will say southern Mason County, you're still technically in the warning, but I think the strongest storms may stay off just to the south of Mason County, but I would still remain indoors at the very least because there is lightning still being detected across southern Mason County. So you'll definitely want to remain inside as the course of least regret as these storms work through. Again, this is the only active severe thunderstorm warning currently in effect for southern Mason, Oceana, and Muskegon counties. That is our only active warning currently in effect. Across the rest of the area, there's no active severe thunderstorm warnings, but we do have a severe thunderstorm watch that is in effect for the entire West Michigan weather coverage area. So that's going to include all of our US 10 counties, all of the I-96 counties, also I-94 counties and US 12 counties, entire areas under a severe thunderstorm watch until 8 p.m. Taking a look behind the scenes. Zooming in here on the power outage maps. I am not seeing a ton of power outages yet for these storms as they move on shore. That is relatively good news. Hopefully that remains the case. It does look like we have a new special marine warning coming in. Yes, they are extending the special marine warning for the nearshore waters from Whitehall to Manistee and open waters from Grand Haven to Manistee. They have extended the the special marine warning, special marine warning until 3 p.m. They are going waterspouts, wind gusts to nearly 50 knots, and large hail. That is likely associated with this round of convection that is also moving to the southeast from the Green Bay area, Manitowoc area, over the lake right now, but that is also moving to the south and east. That is likely what they're extending that special marine warning for as well. And taking a look at that from the Green Bay radar perspective, we are showing definitely some higher velocities and maybe a little bit of rotation as well. Taking a look at that. So definitely could be some water spout potential in there as well. Looks like, let me go back to our area though, they are updating our severe thunderstorm warning. They have dropped southern Mason County and extreme northern portions of Oceana County, so from Pentwater to the north. You have been dropped from the severe thunderstorm warning. You're going to want to remain inside. We do have thunder and lightning in the area, like I'm seeing in the comments here. I hear thunder in Buchanan, Michigan, and lots of thunder here in Grant. That would definitely make sense with these storms as they continue to move through. So yes, these are going to be noisy thunderstorms at the very least. And they could be on the strong, the severe side as well, with mainly damaging winds, along with some potential for quarter-size hail. So severe thunderstorm warning continues for most of Oceana County and also all of Muskegon County for the next 33 minutes. This warning again goes until 2:30 p.m. At 1:54 p.m., severe thunderstorms are located along a line extending from near Pentwater to 5 miles southwest of Hesperia to 6 miles west of North Muskegon. They have updated our storm motion southeast at 75 miles per hour. So these storms are moving relatively quickly now, according to the National Weather Service. That is southeast at 75 miles per hour. Hazard here is going to be 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. Source is going to be radar indicated. Impact hail damage to vehicles is expected. Expect wind damage to roofs, siding, and trees. So again, these storms are moving relatively quickly now, south and east at 75 miles per hour. So we'll track these off to the southeast. Again, at around 75 miles per hour. Let me zoom in a little bit. Try and get some more locations. So New Era, it says 202, but it's moving overhead right about now. We have the Holton area at 2:15 p.m. Fremont, the Fremont area in Newaygo County at 2:19 p.m. Bridgeton at 2:22 p.m. Moreland at 2:25 p.m. Ashland at 2:28 p.m. The Casnovia area at 2:31 p.m. Sparta at 2:36 p.m. We have Sand Lake potentially at 2:38 p.m. Cedar Springs at 2:39 p.m. We have Rockford at 2:42 p.m. Grand Rapids, downtown Grand Rapids potentially at 2:45 p.m. We have the Grattan area at 2:49 p.m., Greenville at 2:51 p.m., Sydney 2:54 p.m., and Belding at 2:54 p.m. as well. We also have Virginius Township. I know it's not quite on the screen, but Virginius Township also at 2:54 p.m. Kathy is saying thunder just started in the Gobles area. Thank you very much for that, Kathy. Yep, even though the reflectivity presentation may not be all that impressive, there's still thunder and lightning being detected with these storms. So reflectivity might not be all that impressive currently, but there's still thunder and lightning being detected with these storms as well. Taking a look at our velocities again. Again, south of our severe really in the severe thunderstorm warning as well, and south. None of this is currently sticking out to me as being severe in nature, but nonetheless, there could still be gusty winds in addition to the thunder and lightning as these storms continue to work through the area. I do think our strongest velocity with these storms is definitely continuing to be over the lake right now. And we will have to monitor as these storms continue to move to the south and east, just in case we do see things start to pick up a little bit more. Again, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect for Oceana and Muskegon counties for the next 30 minutes, expiring at 2:30 p.m. Again, taking a look behind the scenes at the consumer's outage map. I am seeing a couple outages pop up in Newaygo County. So, not sure if that's associated or not. We'll have to keep an eye on that.
Can confirm frequent cloud-to-ground lightning with this activity, but otherwise, not much.
Copy that. Thank you, Jonah. Did they drop the severe thunderstorm warning? For some double checking. Severe thunderstorm warning just dropped off the crawl. I do not think it should have. Alright, hold on. So, I'm just fixing a glitch with our crawl system at the moment. Give me just a second. There we go. unfortunately, looks like our back end data source has been glitching out on occasion today. I'll have to resolve that after the stream. So you'll see some notifications pop up as I just converted it to the backup system. Levi is asking, are these storms about the same intensity that Kalamazoo and Allegan are going to see? So we are monitoring that. Again, these storms are not looking super impressive at the moment, but it is entirely possible they could strengthen a little bit as they continue to move on shore, or we will have to watch these storms off to the west as they approach to provide a little bit more of a severe threat. Again, Jonah was confirming to me, they're near the Grand Rapids area right now, that they are seeing cloud to ground lightning, but other than that, not too much currently. So we'll continue to keep an eye on these storms as they come through, just in case they do pick up. But so far, we're not really seeing a whole lot to be concerned about so far. That does not mean that cannot change as we go through the afternoon and evening. Katie's asking, just joining, how is Rockford looking? Rockford, you're just seeing rain right now. You might be hearing the thunder. We are watching these storms as they continue to approach, but so far we're not really seeing a whole ton to be concerned about at the moment. But we'll continue to watch as they move through, just in case they do pick up. But just know, as of right now, we're not really seeing a whole lot to be concerned about. Just some heavy rainfall, frequent cloud to ground lightning. And I will say there's still some potential for gusty winds. Again, we do continue with this severe thunderstorm warning that's currently in effect for portions of Oceana and Muskegon counties. And greatest storm intensity so far has really been off to the west because we have destructive tag warnings, tornado warnings across southeast Wisconsin and down in the northeastern Illinois, northwest Indiana. Now we are seeing considerable and destructive tags, severe thunderstorm warnings, along with tornado warnings. So far, I'm not seeing an imminent signal for any tornadic activity here in West Michigan. And really, at the moment, I'm not very impressed with the storms currently ongoing. But they still could be severe. We're going to stick with you until either the warning is dropped or however long that takes. And as long as there's warnings in effect, we'll be here walking you guys through it. But taking a look at reflectivity, it's just kind of a messy presentation. Taking a look at velocities, I'm not really seeing a definitive signal for all that much right now. And take a look at hail tracker. All right, does look like we might have actually just dropped the warning. Let me double check behind the scenes what's going on with that. We may have just dropped the severe thunderstorm warning. They have canceled the severe thunderstorm warning for Muskegon and Ottawa counties. Again, they have canceled our severe thunderstorm warning that has been in effect for Muskegon and Oceana counties. If I said Ottawa, I apologize. I should have said Muskegon and Oceana counties is canceled. The storms which prompted the warning have weakened below severe limits and no longer pose an immediate threat to life or property. Therefore, the warning has been canceled. A severe thunderstorm watch remains in effect until 8 p.m. for southwestern and west central Michigan. So again, at least for right now, we are now out of severe weather operations. I think we'll stick around at least for a little bit, see what these storms are doing offshore of St. Joseph. Those look like they could be a little bit stronger in nature. And then we also have this activity over the lake that's still potentially got to work through. But overall, what this is mainly looking right now is just a mess of heavy rainfall, frequent cloudy ground lightning. We might see some sub-severe wind gusts in there from time to time, but really I'm not all that impressed right now with what we're seeing so far of this activity. Taking a look at the consumers map, I'm not seeing a ton of power outages. Near the Jugville area, that's going to be west, south, and west of White Cloud in Newaygo County, we're seeing a couple isolated outages, but nothing widespread or anything like that. And back across Mason, Oceana, and Muskegon counties, I'm not seeing a whole lot being reported. We do hope that trend does continue as these storms continue to generally move to the south and east with time. And take a look at this activity offshore of St. Joseph. I'm going to take a look at that. That it's looking maybe a little bit more impressive. We are seeing a signal for some gusty winds and potentially a little bit of rotation. Let me take a look at our rotation tracker. Okay, not a whole lot there, so mainly gusty winds offshore of St. Joseph. But other than that, I'm not really seeing a whole lot. At least for the moment, not a whole lot to be concerned about locally. Again, I am hearing reports of the thunder picking up. But other than that, so far it's just looking like a lot of downpours, lightning, maybe some gusty winds. Again, we'll have to watch these storms, especially across southwest Michigan as they come in, just in case we do get additional warnings. I'm not completely discounting severe weather yet. It's too early for that. Again, we do have severe thunderstorm watches in effect. But so far, we're not too much to be impressed about here. How's Ionia looking? At least as of right now in Ionia, you're still in the severe thunderstorm watch, so I would remain on guard. But so far, I'm just seeing a lot of shower activity currently. And none of this activity currently inland across West Michigan super impressive, I will say. Just a lot of downpours, maybe some cloud-to-ground lightning. And that would be about it. Timing for portage, Aaron is asking. Portage. I will say this complex of storms, which so far is looking relatively messy, it's going to kind of work through over the next few hours. There in Portage, so this will be for this round. We are watching the activity over the lake, and especially offshore of Ludington. That is one of our stronger storms we are watching currently. As that moves southeast, that may require additional severe thunderstorm warnings. I'll go back to velocity on that. It is one of our stronger signals we're seeing. However, just not so far. That is tracking like it may either ride the lakeshore or may just stay over the lake potentially until it gets into southwest Michigan. So we're going to continue to keep an eye on things here for the next few hours at the very least across the region. But so far, at least so far, nothing is super impressive at the moment. Levi, is this the main storm they thought was going to be bad? Yes, this is likely going to be our main round coming through now. Again, the predictability with this pattern has just been not so great. Again, models have been all over the place. Again, if you watched our impromptu briefing during our morning severe weather coverage, we showed models that showed a line of storms off to the north. So far, we're not really seeing that. I can go further to the north and not a whole lot going on right now. So Again, this is likely going to be our main complex. We'll watch this complex just in case we do see areas of development that may produce damaging winds.
Hey, Jacob, are you still live, sir?
For the moment, I am, Jonah. What's up?
Okay. Just curious if you have any noticings. This is very unimpressive at the current time. A lot of stratiform precipitation, and the squall line that was supposed to have developed has indeed developed, but it is staying on the east side, or the west side, excuse me, of Lake Michigan, across Wisconsin. So I just wanted to see if you had anything else that I might be missing, or if you had a difference of opinion.
No, sir. I tend to concur of your thinking so far. I'm still kind of watching the storms back towards St. Joseph. They have a little bit more strength to them, but even those are not looking all that impressive at the moment. But I do concur that the strongest storms are definitely so far at least staying over the lake and back into Wisconsin and Illinois.
Copy, thanks.
All right, guys. So again, just communicating with our team. So again, a lot of what we're seeing right here, right now, and I do think just giving a few more minutes to see what the Weather Service is going to do with this activity west of St. Joseph, because I don't want to hop off and then have to come right back on the air when we have additional warnings. But so far, most of the activity across West Michigan, honestly, with you guys, is not looking super impressive. We have a lot of stratiform precipitation, and it does look like it's very possible, although our severe threat is definitely not zero, that the strongest storms may indeed stay off to the west. Getting some new information. See what's coming in from the National Weather Service. Okay, I'm reading. Also, just a heads up, this is going to be outside of our area, but it does look like SPC issued a new mesoscale discussion calling out far eastern Illinois into Indiana for that intense bow echo near the Chicago area. So,
Copy, I'll take a look.
so again, it is possible that we may escape the worst of it here in West Michigan, but just with this, just giving a few more minutes at the very least before going off, at least temporarily. See what these storms do in west of St. Joseph. Our radar system is detecting, actually. It does have the, see our spinning indicator here. That is our weather-wise radar detecting a potential area of rotation. Checking that out, the confidence on it is 44.7, but not super high confidence. But we could be seeing a little bit of rotation there. That could be a potential water spout west of St. Joseph. And that would be heading in the general direction of St. Joseph. So if that does hold together, we may see warnings become required for potentially portions of Berrien County. Also maybe southern Van Buren County and northern Cass County with time. So we'll definitely have to keep an eye on those storms as they may be moving on shore here over the next little bit. Take a look at rotation tracker on it. Not really, a little bit of weak rotation. It's not very strong rotation, but some rotation nonetheless. In addition to that, taking a look at hail tracker on it, see what hail potential is looking like. Maybe some potential for small hail, but not anything super impressive at the moment. Again, our most impressive storms so far have been tending to stay out over the lake and then back into Wisconsin, Illinois, and then soon in Indiana. We're still here. If I go silent, I'm still here. I'm just looking at some things behind the scenes. Again, taking a look at the consumer's map, still not seeing a whole lot of power outages from our earlier severe thunderstorm warning, which is definitely good news. That suggests that the damaging wind potential definitely was unlikely to be fully realized. Again, so far looking at these storms, these are so far just looking like garden variety storms. Maybe some rainfall, maybe some gustier winds. Definitely not looking at anything extremely impressive so far. Going back south and west, we're going to take a look again at a storm just offshore of St. Joseph. Again, we're still showing our rotation indicator on our weather-wise radar. Confidence has increased a little bit to 52.8% for potential tornado. Taking a look at velocity, still some rotation there. Relatively broad rotation, but some rotation nonetheless. And we could be seeing an increasing wind signal offshore of St. Joseph. Let me go ahead and track that off. We'll go ahead and track that off to the east, maybe a touch southeast. That's going to take it into the Shoreham area around 2:48 p.m., Stevensville at around 2:48 p.m. Ava is asking about Rockford. Rockford, we're not seeing anything of concern right now. Just a lot of just some rainfall, some thunder and lightning. I can't fully rule out some sub-severe wind gusts, but I'm really not seeing a whole lot of concern here at the moment. With that activity, we'll keep an eye on it, but there is still a severe thunderstorm watch in effect. But just not really seeing a whole lot of to be concerned about at the moment. Our concern right now is looking to be wind. Ava's asking about wind in Lockford. I'm not seeing a whole lot of wind at the moment. We'll go back north real quick, take a look at that. Come back for the storm track. Give me just a second. Looking up here, maybe some. This is likely going to be sub-severe wind gusts. We could be seeing a little bit of gusty wind near the Walker area, near Grand Rapids, kind of near 96 and 131. We might be seeing a little bit of gustier wind there. Definitely sub-severe, I would tend to think, but just a little bit of potential there. But other than that, this is just heavy rainfall and maybe some cloud-to-ground lightning with this activity. Nothing super impressive at the moment. Tornado potential is low but not zero, but I'm definitely thinking better potential for that may tend to stay west of the area so far. Again, we are watching this storm south and west of St. Joseph that I think has the best short-term severe potential. I want to go back to reflectivity, I should say velocity. And we are seeing the brighter greens showing up. Ava's asking, what does red mean? If you're asking about velocity, the red means away from the radar site, in this case, northern Indiana. Look at the northern Indiana radar. The reds are the winds heading away. The greens are heading towards the radar site. If you're asking about reflectivity, we'll go back to that real quick. The reds generally mean heavier rainfall rates. Ava says, they've been talking about the storm for a couple days and it's not even bad. Well, it's just that some of the data, which I will say the model data, unfortunately, has been, it's just one of the things we have to deal with these summertime patterns of the model data has not been all that great. It's been all over the place on what to expect. So, and unfortunately, that seems to be one of those scenarios where we communicated a higher end threat that may not fully pan out, which of course is a good thing. We would never not see the widespread potential we were looking at earlier today. If that does not pan out, that's a good thing. But again, we still have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect, so we're gonna. And then we're still watching our storm. Let me get back to this storm near St. Joseph. I did want to storm track this as we are showing a little bit more of a gusty wind potential at the very least with this storm. West of St. Joseph, tracking that off to the east and southeast. Shoreham at around 2:45 p.m. as for the gusty winds. Stevensville at 2:46 p.m. St. Joseph at 2:47 p.m. The Sodus area at 2:56 p.m. Eau Claire at 3:03 p.m. Keeler at 3:12 p.m. Pokagon at 3:15 p.m. The Wajak at 3:18 p.m. Decatur at 3:27 p.m. The Cassopolis area at 3:28 p.m. The Volhynia area at 3:30 p.m. and Penn at 3:32 p.m. That is for the potential. I do think of some gusty winds that may be moving on shore into Berrien County in the not too distant future. We have dropped off the tornado ID on the WeatherWise radar. We have lost the tornado ID, but we're still seeing some higher velocities here that could mean some gustier winds potentially moving on shore. If that does continue or continues to pick up, we could see severe thunderstorm warnings be required for Berrien County. That is something we are going to be watching here in the very short term. And as I say that, there's a new severe thunderstorm warning coming in now for Berrien County. This is going to be a new severe thunderstorm warning for portions of Berrien County. This is going to go for the next hour or so, until 3:15 p.m., so a little less than an hour. They do also have the tornado possible tag on this warning, and it is for 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. So if you're in St. Joseph, Fairplain, Shoreham, Stevensville, Bridgman, New Troy, Buchanan, the Bertrand area, Niles, Berrien Springs, Eau Claire, Sodus, some of the locations that are in this severe thunderstorm warning. I would be heading indoors right now. I would be in that sturdy structure, away from those windows, probably on the lower floors you can get there as the storm moves in. And just be aware that there is the possibility of a tornado with this storm as well. Reading the warning text from the National Weather Service. The National Weather Service in northern Indiana has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Berrien County in southwest Michigan until 3:15 p.m. At 2:24 p.m., a severe thunderstorm was located 7 miles northwest of Stevensville, or 8 miles west of St. Joseph, moving east at 35 miles per hour. Hazard is 60 mile per hour wind gusts. However, they are noting that locally higher wind gusts to 70 miles per hour are possible as this moves on shore. So 60 mile per hour wind gusts, but locally higher gusts up to 70 miles per hour are a possibility as this moves on shore. Source on this is going to be radar indicated. Impact hail damage to vehicles is expected. Expect wind damage to roofs, siding, and trees. Locations impacted include Niles, Benton Harbor, St. Joseph, the Buchanan area, Fair Play, Benton Heights, Bridgman, Berrien Springs, Stevensville, Shorewood, Tower Hills, Harbert, Sodus, Baroda, the Shoreham area, Eau Claire, Glendora, New Troy, Sawyer, Millburg, and Spinks Corners. This includes Interstate 94 between mile markers 12 and 33, so that is going to be roughly between New Troy and we'll say Benton Heights in terms of that. In terms of the severe thunderstorm warning on that stretch of I-94. So if you are in these areas, remain alert for a possible tornado. Tornadoes could develop quickly from severe thunderstorms. If you spot a tornado, go at once into the basement or small central room in a sturdy structure. For your protection, move to an interior room on the lowest floor of a building. Torrential rainfall is occurring with this storm and may lead to flash flooding. Do not drive your vehicle through flooded roadways. So again, in addition to the damaging wind and large and quarter-size hail threat, we're also watching potential rotation for a potential tornado and also torrential rainfall, which could result in localized areas of minor flooding. And going further to the north, we'll go up there real quick. None of this activity is currently concerning around the Grand Rapids area. None of this is currently concerning. We are watching some, this is just torrential rainfall, frequent lightning, and maybe some sub-severe wind gusts right now. Although velocities might be picking up just a little bit. Across southern Ottawa, maybe Allegan County, we might be seeing a little bit higher velocities. These are still sub-severe, but maybe gusts 30 to 40 being indicated. But otherwise, we're not really seeing a whole lot to be concerned about in terms of velocities. So if you're in, I'm seeing locations about Greenville, Belmont, Ionia. There is currently nothing to be concerned about. We'll keep watching these storms just in case they do pick up a little bit. But so far, I'm not really seeing a whole lot to be concerned with these storms. It's just heavy rainfall. You can see on the left side of our screen our live feed from Jonah and Bryce in the Grand Rapids area. Just a lot of rain, some occasional lightning, but nothing so far at the very least to be concerned about. No severe warnings are in effect. So if I don't mention these areas too much while I'm focusing on our southern areas, the severe warnings, just know that we're not really seeing anything of major concern at the moment. We'll keep an eye on this though, and if we do start getting severe warnings, we'll let you know. Back to our severe warning that is in effect for portions of Berrien County. I do want to go to velocity, and again, that is continuing to show potential for gusty winds. Offshore of St. Joseph, Shoreham, Stevensville. This is our potential area of damaging winds. Up to 60 miles per hour. Taking a look at a few other products, we'll go to rotation. Take a look at storm relative velocity. That might be showing a couple areas of rotation, like west of Bridgman, west of Stevensville, potentially some areas of rotation in here. That is why we have the tornado possible tag. But I think the main threat here is going to be damaging winds. We'll go to our hail tracker real quick. Go in the hail tracker. And hail tracker's not showing the most impressive signal I've ever seen, but they are seeing they have this warning for the potential of quarter-size hail, and there certainly could be at least some small hail that'll be moving on shore, especially in the Stevensville and Bridgman areas over the next little bit. We'll go Shoreham, potentially St. Joseph as well. Again, this is not the most impressive hail signal. We can go to correlation coefficient. I know it says debris tracker. We're not using it for debris in this case. I'm not really seeing too much of a hail signal in there. But nonetheless, at least some small hail could be falling on this storm as it begins to move on shore. Again, further to the southwest, we are seeing tornado warnings and destructive tag severe thunderstorm warnings. And in fact, earlier I did not really go over it, but we had warnings up to 100-mile-per-hour winds back across northeastern Illinois and northwestern Indiana, south of the Chicago area. So this is definitely a very strong bow echo that will be, as fortunately, passing to the southwest for the most part. But we're giving some potential leftovers of it here in Berrien County that is prompting a severe thunderstorm warning, at least for the potential 60 to 70 mile an hour wind gusts. And again, we are also continuing to monitor occasional signs of rotation as well from time to time as well. Currently over the lake, we will see what happens as it moves on shore. If the rotation does strengthen, a tornado warning may eventually be required, if it does indeed strengthen for Berrien County. So just something to be aware of if you're located mainly in central Berrien County is where we're mainly watching at the moment. Jen is saying your coverage and calmness is really helpful. Thank you. Yes, we do our best here. Just try to stay calm, guide you guys through this. We'll get through this together. We do our best here, so I appreciate that. And looking further to the north, I'm still not seeing anything imminently concerning. Maybe gusty winds, 30, 40 miles per hour or so, but nothing super impressive. This is just really a mess of heavy rain, some occasional cloud to ground lightning, and maybe at the very worst some sub-severe wind gusts. I do think severe potential, at least as of right now, is going to be more focused in the southwest Michigan. And it looks like we got new warnings coming in now for southwest Berrien County as well. This is for southwestern portions of the county. A new severe thunderstorm warning for portions of for southwest Berrien County. This is going to include New Buffalo Township, Free Oaks, the Gallion area. And this is going to be for tornado possible tag on this warning as well. 60 mile per hour wind gusts and quarter size hail. This warning is going to be in effect until 3 p.m. 3 p.m. Eastern or 2 p.m. Central. So for us, that'd be 3 p.m. Eastern. This is a new severe thunderstorm warning. Again, this also, in addition to Berrien County, this also includes western St. Joseph and LaPorte County in northwestern Indiana. Again, this goes until 3 p.m. At 2:33 p.m., severe thunderstorms are located along a line extending from 6 miles northwest of the New Buffalo area to Westville, moving off to the east at 30 miles per hour.
Hey, Jacob, are you still alive there? Or, well, I assume you are, due to the severe thunderstorm warning that's for Berrien now.
Yes, sir.
I'll keep it brief then. We are going to be ending our chase. Doesn't appear that anything is going to happen locally. I think the last shot at anything there is what's coming into Berrien County right now, and even that looks questionable in my opinion. And yeah, there's a lot of rain, which is needed, but I'm not really seeing much more potential. Of course, we'll keep an eye on things, but we're going to be ending our chase.
Copy that. Sounds good. So, as you heard from Jonah and Bryce, they are wrapping up their chase as it doesn't look like across most of the area. I do not think there's going to be too much that happens so far. At least so far, it is looking like our main potential is going to be across far southwest Michigan, mainly Berrien County, where we do have active severe thunderstorm warnings. But at this point, it is looking like that this is going to be a southwest Michigan issue, at least for this particular round. As for the west of us, the severe potential is not zero. There is still a severe thunderstorm watch in effect, but it is looking like at this point, this is mainly going to be heavy rainfall, some cloud to ground lightning, and maybe some gusty winds, generally sub-severe, at least as of right now. We'll still keep an eye on this activity though, and if any of it does strengthen and has warnings come in, we'll be here covering it. Back southwest to our severe thunderstorm warning though. Our tornado ID on the WeatherWise radar is showing another potential detection near the Stevensville area. Let me go ahead and pop in velocity, and we are seeing an area of higher wind potentially near the Stevensville area. I am seeing velocities of 50 to 60 miles per hour. Going to storm relative velocity. Could be some rotation in there, but it's not an immediate tornado concern, I don't think. This looks more likely, at least for the moment, to be damaging straight line wind near the Stevensville area. That's going to be heading through Rosemary Beach and Livingston as well. As that continues to move off to the east, if you are in Baroda, the Hinchman, or an Arden area, Hollywood, Buckhorn, Berrien Springs, Eau Claire, over towards Sodus, the Hartman area, also Baroda, just north of the Bridgman area is where we're watching this as well. And it does look like we do have an update to pass along due to severe thunderstorm watch real quick. We'll do that real quick. If you are in Clare, Lake, Mason, and Osceola counties, you have been dropped from the severe thunderstorm watch. So that is going to be our US 10 corridor counties. The severe thunderstorm watch has been canceled. They are continuing to watch for all the counties south of US 10 until 8 p.m. That is going to continue until 8 p.m. for areas south of US 10. But if you're in Clare, Lake, Mason, and Osceola counties, you have been canceled from the severe thunderstorm watch. At least for now, your severe threat has ended. But back to our velocity here, we are watching this likely area of gusty winds near Stevensville. We are indicating on velocity of 50 to 60 mile an hour winds. This is also 4,000 or 5,000 feet up. So if it's showing that up there, that could easily be 60 to potentially 70 mile an hour winds down at the surface. Again, they have noted in the severe thunderstorm warning that while it has been issued for 60 mile an hour winds, they do feel that local higher wind gusts of 70 miles per hour are possible, especially as this moves on shore, which it is doing so right now. So if you're in Stevensville in particular, you're likely noticing the gusty winds pick up. We are noticing a secondary area of wind as well, south and west of, near and just west of Bridgman. That's going to be moving on shore over the next couple minutes as well. So Shorewood Hills, if you're near the Warren Dunes State Park, you're going to notice the wind pick up, if not already, very shortly. Again, you're likely noticing that in Stevensville right now. In addition to the likely gusty to damaging winds, we are seeing heavy rainfall and frequent lightning of these storms as well. Taking a look at hail, I'm not seeing the most impressive reflectivity or correlation coefficient signal for hail. Going to our hail tracker, I should say. Hail tracker is also not all that impressive, but maybe still a signal for some small hail there that would be moving on shore over the next couple of minutes. Again, these are all generally moving to the east, maybe a touch southeast, but generally east. We'll say east-southeast is the direction these storms are moving. Just some more updates to our special marine warnings coming in. They had dropped the special marine warnings from earlier. They were 49 to 50 knots. At least for the Grand Rapids ones, they have dropped those down to 30, greater than 34 knots. So that is another good sign that at least further to the north, while the severe threat isn't, don't want to say it's zero, it's definitely not as high as initially thought. I will say we are watching an area. This is likely going to be sub-severe, but near the Moreland area, we are watching a potential area of gusty wind. Take a look at rotation tracker on it. Maybe a little bit of weak rotation, but I tend to think that's going to be more in the way of gusty wind there near the Moreland area. Nothing major in particular, maybe 20, 30, 40 mile an hour gusts there. But as for most of this activity, this is looking mainly like rainfall of rumbles of thunder, which rain is certainly welcome across the area. We just don't need the severe weather. And at least right now, it is trending in the direction that most of us may escape, at least the worst of the severe weather. Not zero, still definitely not zero, but maybe escaping the worst of the severe weather across most of the area. With the exception, of course, of Berrien County right now, where we do have severe thunderstorm warnings. If you're in Stevensville, you're in Bridgman, you're in Shoreham, St. Joseph, Fair Plain, you're likely noticing the downpours. Again, particularly in Stevensville, Bridgman, and Baroda, you're likely noticing the gusty to potentially damaging winds as well, up to 60 to possibly 70 mile per hour in localized spots. As these storms continue to move on shore, I do want to go ahead and track this. We'll track this off to the east, maybe a touch southeast, at around 35 miles per hour. This is for the area of higher winds. This is going to take it into Berrien Springs around 3:01 p.m. The Eau Claire area around 3:04 p.m. Andrews University around 2:59 p.m. So around 3 o'clock still, as the current time estimate. We have the Pokagon area. This is going to be a heads up for Cass County as well. If this does hold together, warnings may eventually be required for Cass County as well. But we have the Pokagon area at 3:16 p.m. We have the Dowagiac area at 3:20 p.m. and Cassopolis at 3:30 p.m. We're going to do another track, this time for the secondary area of gusty winds. That is going to take it. Okay, it's moving into New Troy right now. It's going to be in Glendora. Moving the next couple of minutes at 2:52 p.m. We have Buchanan at 3:05 p.m. The Niles area at 3:13 p.m. We have Pokagon at 3:19 p.m. We have Granger at 3:28 p.m. We have Edwardsburg. So again, that's going to be into Cass County. Edwardsburg potentially at 3:29 p.m. And also Cassopolis eventually at 3:34 p.m. And this is Northern Indiana, but Elkhart Municipal Airport at 3:39 p.m. as well. So that's a couple storm tracks for you. Again, we are also watching southwestern Berrien County for the potential gusty winds. New Buffalo, Michiana, Free Oaks, and Galion is where we're watching this as well. Mainly heavy downpours with some gusty winds. We do still have tornado possible tag on these warnings as well. So we'll still be monitoring, although not really seeing anything as concerning as we were earlier in terms of rotation. But that's still a possibility with the tornado possible tag. We may have brief areas of rotation that could still spin up a brief weak tornado. Again, I think the likelihood of that is relatively low, but it is not zero. So something we'll be continuing to keep an eye on. We did just get a new velocity scan in, and that is showing our area gusty winds now. Moving through the New Troy area, doing an inspection, at least at radar level, which is about 4,000 feet. 4,000 to 4,500 feet. I am still seeing 40 to 50 mile an hour winds being detected. Keep in mind that's up there about 4,000 feet. The radar's not seeing anything below that. So there could still be areas of 50, 60, localized 70-mile-an-hour winds will be storms that, and that has noted in the severe thunderstorm warnings. Back to reflectivity. In addition to the gusty to damaging wind potential, we are watching just general heavy downpours, maybe some small hail. I know the warnings are for quarters, but I'm not seeing a definitive radar indication of large hail at the moment. Nonetheless, some small hail is possible, but I think the main threat is going to be the damaging winds, along with heavy rainfall and frequent cloud-to-ground lightning. And these are the only two warnings in effect locally is for Berrien County. The first warning's in effect for more central portions of the county. And then another one is in effect for southwestern portions of Berrien County. Our southwest Berrien County warning expires at 2 p.m., so in the next 10 to 15 minutes or so. And our other warning for central Berrien expires in 27 minutes, so that's going to be about 3:15 p.m. Give me just a second. I'm going to get a quick sip of water. Okay, excuse me. There we go. There we go. So, yeah, this is the main storms we are watching at the moment. Is mainly across Berrien County. Again, they are updating our southwest Berrien County warning. New update still has the tornado possible tag, still has the 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. Reading the text on this update at 2:47 p.m., severe thunderstorms are located along the line, extending from near Shorewood Tower Hill to near Westville, moving to the east at 30 miles per hour. So, again, the main threats here continue to be 60 miles per hour wind gusts, along with the potential for quarter-size hail. And they are also continuing our tornado possible tag on this warning as well. New update also coming in for our other Berrien County warning. Severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect until 3:15 p.m. for Berrien County. Again, this is primarily central portions of the county. At 2:48 p.m., severe thunderstorms are located along a line extending from near Benton Heights to near Berrien Springs to near Buchanan, moving east at 35 miles per hour. Again, further to the north here, across the rest of West Michigan around the Grand Rapids metro, we're not really seeing anything that is really definitively organized here. What we're really seeing here is just a lot of heavy rainfall, locally moderate to heavy in rainfall rates, along with some occasional cloud-to-ground lightning. And we are still watching spots of occasional gusty wind. But I don't think anything, at least right now, I think the severe likelihood with this activity is looking relatively low. And none of this is looking imminently concerning to me. Although we do still have severe thunderstorm watches that continue for areas along and south of M20, so Hart, Hart, White Cloud, Big Rapids, Mount Pleasant Point South do continue with the severe thunderstorm watch. So it does still include Muskegon, still does include Grand Rapids, still does include Lansing, also the Alma, Ithaca areas down to Kalamazoo, Marshall, Jackson. You're still in the severe thunderstorm watch, although I am tending to think that the severe threat up here, while it's not zero, I don't want to completely dismiss the threat yet, it is looking relatively low at this time. Again, we're just not seeing the organization of these storms that we were initially expecting earlier, looking at the computer model guidance, which again has just tended to struggle with these setups, and that this appears to be another one of those scenarios where it's just tending to struggle. Focusing again on our severe thunderstorm warnings, which is the main reason we are still here with you guys. If you're just tuning in here, I'm Jacob Melton. I'm the community manager and primary stream host here at West Michigan Weather. We are continuing with our severe weather coverage for the mainly damaging wind potential across far southwest lower Michigan. We do have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for portions of Berrien County that do continue for the next little while, at least until 3:15 p.m. Excuse me, I should say 3:15 p.m. is how long these warnings go for. Our southernmost warning goes only for 8 more minutes until 3 p.m. and our northern warning for mainly central portions of Berrien County do continue for another 20 to 25 minutes until 3:15 p.m. Primarily for the potential of damaging winds, they are maintaining a tornado possible tag. I will mention, in addition to the potential for quarter-size hail. Taking a look at velocities, a lot of what I'm seeing here is gusty winds, although I am seeing maybe a little bit of weak rotation near the Glendora area, south and west of Berrien Springs. Take a look from a different view. Yeah, not super impressive rotation, nothing that imminent screams tornado on the ground to me, but that just something we are continuing to watch. Again, they are maintaining a tornado possible tag, so we're just watching those kind of signatures just in case one does spin up a little bit further. Again, the chances of that I think are still relatively low at the moment, but nonetheless, definitely some gustier winds moving through the Baroda and Glendora areas. Moving into Berrien Springs over the next few minutes, you're likely noticing the winds start to pick up there in the Berrien Springs area. You'll also notice that in Buchanan, along with Niles and Eau Claire as well. And we will also be watching Cass County here over the next little bit as these storms continue to move in as well. If this does continue, I do think warnings may eventually be required for Cass County as well if this does continue on its current track and strength. I will say velocities have come down a little bit from what we were looking at earlier. Now, some of that could be due to us getting a little bit closer to the radar site. The radar site, remember, is down in North Webster, Indiana. That is where our radar site is. We are still about 4,000 feet up, though, and it is kind of come down just a little bit. Again, not totally dismissing the threat here, but we're not really seeing a screaming signal for significant damaging wind or anything like that at the moment. Just a potential for wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour. I will note they did drop the local 70 mile per hour mention. The local 70 mile per hour wind gust mention, that has been dropped as well. So that is good news. So we might be toning down these storms a little bit as well. And taking a look at our other warning, I think the strongest winds are moving more into northwest Indiana at this point, near the LaPorte and Springfield, Indiana areas. That's going to tend to move, assuming east-southeastern motion, that's going to be more of a northwest Indiana issue. Again, taking a look further to the north, we may be seeing some elevated velocities across Allegan County. That's still a couple thousand feet up, though. And look now at the surface, we're not really seeing a whole lot to be concerned about. Just some localized, maybe gusty winds, but otherwise this is really just looking like heavy rainfall, some occasional cloud ground lightning, and that's so far looking that's going to be about it for at least the Grand Rapids metro. And we are still watching storms over the lake, but again, those are likely going to tend to stay offshore, but we may be watching portions of Berrien County with time as well. Again, with this complex of storms as well as it moves south. We'll have to watch these as well. Alright, we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning coming in. This is going to be for Berrien and Cass County. This is a new severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued. for the potential of 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts again. They have brought the hail down from quarter size. It is now nickel size hail. It's going to be nickel size hail. And they are also continuing our tornado possible tag with this warning. So if you are in the area highlighted here, you are generally within the severe thunderstorm warning. So that's going to include Eau Claire, Berrien Springs, Buchanan, also the Bertrand, Niles, Dowagiac area, Pokagon, over towards Cassopolis and Edwardsburg is where we're seeing the severe thunderstorm warning. Again, primarily for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. They are continuing a tornado possible tag as well, though. And again, the main thing I'm seeing here as we go back to velocity is going to be damaging wind potential. Not really seeing, again, maybe some rotation back in here, but that could also be more in the way of noise as well. See how that matches with reflectivity. It's kind of in the northern end of the reflectivity. We'll be watching it. I'm not seeing a definitive tornado on the ground signal or anything like that. We don't have any tornado warnings, but they are continuing severe thunderstorm warnings now in the portions of western Cass County, along with the rest of southeastern Berrien County, and that goes until 3:45 p.m. I'll go ahead and read off the warning text here. This warning was issued at 2:56 p.m. The National Weather Service in northern Indiana has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for western Cass and southeastern Berrien County in our coverage area. It also includes St. Joseph County, northern Marshall County, and northeastern LaPorte County there in northwestern and north central Indiana. This warning goes until 3:45 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. At 2:55 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, severe thunderstorms are located along a line extending from 8 miles northwest of Dowagiac to near New Carlisle to Kingsford Heights, moving to the southeast at 55 miles per hour. Hazard is going to be 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and nickel-size hail. Source on this is going to be radar indicated. Impact, expect damage to roofs, siding, and trees. Locations impacted include South Bend, Mishawaka. We also have LaPorte. Some of these are going to be northern Indiana locations, but also in our area we have Niles, Dowagiac, Buchanan, and a few other locations. A lot of Edwardsburg, Bertrand, Pokagon as well. And some of these locations are going to be northern Indiana locations, but again, Berrien Springs, Eau Claire, Dowagiac, Pokagon, Edwardsburg, Bertrand, Niles, and Buchanan in our region. We also have Bakertown and Dayton in this warning as well. Again, this is primarily for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. However, there's still a tornado possible tag on it as well. I do want to go further north real quick. I did see we had a new special marine warning be issued. This is going to be for the near shore and open waters from, we'll say, Port Sheldon down to St. Joseph. This is going to be for wind gusts greater than 34 knots and small hail. Wind gusts 34 knots or greater and small hail. Near shore and open waters from St. Joseph to Grand Haven, I should say. St. Joseph to Grand Haven. Location, and this is for wind gusts 34 knots or greater and small hail. That is going to be associated with this complex of storms that is generally moving south-southeast. The warning text stated southeast at 50 knots, so it is moving relatively quickly. Let me double check the storm motion on our new warning here. That was southeast at 55, so these storms are moving a little bit quicker now. Southeast at 55 miles per hour or so. We'll go ahead and track this. Let me go over the velocity before we do track it. Tracking this off to the southeast, around 55 miles per hour. Let me zoom in a little bit. Okay, it's going to be in Pokagon at 3:11 p.m., but you should be heading indoors right now. You want to head inside that sturdy structure and just kind of be near a tornado safe place, just in case we do have a tornado try and spin up. But Pokagon at 3:11 p.m., Cassopolis at 3:20 p.m., the Vandalia area at 3:25 p.m. We have Bristol at 3:35 p.m., Montville at 3:36 p.m., and the Fabius area at around 3:36 p.m. as well. As I did mention, we are watching for areas of rotation. We could be seeing a little bit of broad rotation near the Galleon area, right along US 12, heading towards the Dayton area. Yeah, it's not super tight rotation. In fact, it kind of broadened out a little bit again on this newest scan. Just maybe a brief area of rotation. Definitely some, again, still some potential for gusty winds here. But a lot of what I'm seeing here is definitely a more gusty wind in nature, rather than any specific area of tornadic rotation. Hopefully that trend does continue with these storms as they continue to move across the area. And again, looking further north on velocities, we're still not seeing a whole lot to be concerned about here with these storms. These showers and storms, we're just not seeing a whole lot to be concerned about here. In fact, I'm a little bit more concerned about this transitioning to a heavy rainfall threat for portions of especially northern Kent County. We'll get a little bit more concerned about a heavy rainfall threat. Also, southern Newaygo and southeastern Muskegon counties and northeastern Ottawa County. We are noticing that heavier rainfall has been sitting over this area for the past little bit. If that does continue, we may be a little more concerned about areas of minor flooding. There's a couple products I can look at here. I want to look at our 1 hour rainfall totals. And yeah, within the past hour, we are seeing some fairly heavy rainfall rates. We are seeing rainfall of 2, even 3, even potentially approaching 4 inches. Over 3 inches, over 3.5 inches being indicated near the Bridgeton area. This is going to be in southwestern Newaygo County. Radar is indicating some very heavy rainfall rates within the past hour. There's no flood advisories or anything like that currently, but if this is indeed accurate, we may be getting a little more concerned about areas of localized flooding across southwestern Newaygo County, in the northeastern and eastern Muskegon counties, and then eventually, especially northern Kent County. Although even central Kent County, we may need to be a little bit concerned as well for areas of localized minor flooding. Again, there's no flood advisories currently in effect, but that is something we are monitoring. Is the threat of locally heavy rainfall. Again, our only active severe thunderstorm warnings right now are in effect for Berrien County and also Cass County, mainly for the potential 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. However, we're not really seeing anything definitively concerning in terms of rotation or really wind gusts for that matter. I will say we are getting closer to the radar. And there's still potential for 60-mile-per-hour winds, don't get me wrong. But our velocities are looking less impressive as we get closer to the radar. What that could be a sign of, don't get me wrong, winds could still be gusty. But they may not necessarily be reaching the severe threshold down at the surface. We're still keeping an eye on it. We're still about 3,000 to 3,500 feet up from the radar site. And that means the radar can't see anything below that. So just because it's not looking all that impressive, 3,000 to 4,000 feet in the air, that does not mean that down at the surface you're not seeing 40, 50, potentially 60-mile-an-hour gusts. I will say we are also watching maybe a little bit of rotation near the south of the Buchanan area. In the area of Redbud Trail, south of Pulaski Highway, south of US 12. Zooming in here, that appears to be some private roads. Kind of near the Dayton Wet Prairie Preserve area, near Bertrand Road. After it turns from Chicago Road, it turns to Bertrand Road. kind of near US 31 as well, south of US 12. We're seeing just maybe a little bit of broad rotation here, weak rotation. Again, nothing imminently concerning in terms of a tornado threat. We'll take a look at the debris tracker. We're not seeing any tornado debris or anything like that. It's just something we are watching. That is why they have the tornado possible tag on this warning as well, just in case we have those little areas of spin, because you can sometimes get those little areas of spin within this line. They can be very difficult to warn for in advance before it's already touched down, because they can touch down, do damage, and lift back up all within one radar scan. So that makes them very tough to place a tornado warning on. So that is why sometimes they place a tornado possible tag within the severe thunderstorm warning. Just basically as a heads up, say, be aware, we are monitoring signs of rotation. While it's not enough for a tornado warning, the tornado could spin up with very little notice. So just something to be aware of. That is why if you're in this warning, you'll want to be inside in that sturdy structure, preferably away from those windows, but also be ready at a moment's notice, just in case the tornado does touch down. Be ready to quickly move to your tornado safe place. By tornado safe place, you may ask, that may be your basement or certified storm shelter if you've got one. But if you don't got a basement or a certified storm shelter, that's okay. Then you'll just want to be inside an interior room on the lowest floor. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible, just in case we do have a tornado briefly touch down. Again, chances of that are relatively low at the moment, but not zero. If you are in the Niles area, you're likely noticing things start to pick up. If you're in Bertrand, things are picking up. Buchanan, you're in the thick of the heavy rainfall right now, likely some gusty wind as well. Berrien Springs, Eau Claire, heading into the Pokagon area as well. You're likely noticing things start to pick up. If you're in St. Joseph, Sodus, Benton Heights, the Shoreham area, Bridgman, Stevensville, you're likely you're in the severe thunderstorm warning still. However, I tend to think the strongest part, at least of this particular storm, has passed off to your east at this point. We are monitoring additional convection over the lake, however, that may tend to move in that direction fairly soon. So we'll have to keep an eye on that if it does hold together. Tom Briggs is saying greetings from Southwest Michigan, Battle Creek. Hi, Tom. Thank you for tuning in. Speaking of Battle Creek, I'll give you a quick update there. Nothing imminently concerning in the Battle Creek area. Again, mainly rain and thunder. I do think, at least in the short term, our severe threat is going to be more confined to far southwest Michigan. So areas like Cass County, Berrien County, potentially St. Joseph County. And then we'll be watching these storms over the lake. If they do make it, it'll be the same general areas, along with maybe Van Buren County and maybe southwestern Allegan County. But even with these storms, we're not really seeing anything extremely impressive with them at the moment. There are severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for these on the other side of the lake, and there could be some signs of high winds that we'll have to continue to watch as well. If they do indeed make it into southwest Michigan again, that would be a secondary round that we'll have to watch for the next little while. Again, further to the north, not really seeing too much to be concerned about here. This is mainly stratiform rain with some rumbles of thunder in it, but we're not really seeing anything super concerning in terms of severe weather here. I can take a look behind the scenes, and yeah, not really seeing a whole lot to be concerned about at the moment, which continues to be good news. Also, for those of you watching, if you are not already following or subscribed to us here, please feel free to follow or subscribe to our channel or page, depending on the platform you are watching on. Doing that and sharing the stream out is the best way to help us reach more of West Michigan with our information, with our life-saving weather coverage and weather forecast information. So again, the reason we're still with you here, been on for a little over an hour and a half now, hour and 41 minutes is our running total for this particular stream. We are still with you here because we continue with severe thunderstorm warnings, mainly in the far southwestern portions of our coverage area. We have severe thunderstorm warnings currently in effect for Berrien and Cass counties. Mainly at this point, southeastern Cass County, Berrien County, I should say, southeastern Berrien County, and into western Cass County. Although even in Cass County, I'm getting to get a little bit more concerned, at least for the best severe potential, is going to be across southwestern Cass County. If you're in Dowagiac, you'll definitely still want to be indoors. You've still got rain and lightning, but it's starting to look like the highest wind potential may pass just to your south and west of the Dowagiac area. If you're in Pokagon, you're in Niles, you're in Bertrand, you're likely noticing the wind pick up, the rain start to pick up as well. And lightning activity has actually kind of come down maybe just a little bit too. So that may hopefully be a sign that we're starting to see things begin to weaken a little bit as with these storms as well. And if that trend continues, we may see this warning be canceled early as well. Again, in addition to these storms, we are also watching additional storms over Lake Michigan that are moving to the south and southeast. We'll have to watch these just in case they move into southwest Michigan as well. These still may have a damaging wind and hail threat associated with them as well. And at least on the Grand Rapids radar, our weatherwise radar is indicating some potential rotation over here as well. This is looking rather high up, but definitely maybe some sides there, at least on this particular radar. And also on the Milwaukee radar as well. So we'll watch these storms. If they hold together, they could bring an additional strong to severe storm threat, generally in the same areas that are already being hit across far southwest lower Michigan. However, it's also possible that these storms may eat up the passing through right now, may eat up the instability and kind of limit the greater threat of these storms as well. We'll continue to keep an eye on that. Again, if anyone in Berrien County especially had any storm reports to pass along to us, feel free to let us know what you've seen. If you have any damage reports or any storm reports, we would greatly appreciate those. You can let us know in chat on the platform you are watching on, or on our website, www.westmichiganweather.net. There is a place where you can submit those storm reports as well. That is a area forecast discussion update. Okay. Let's check it out for any new information here. Let's see it a whole lot. Further to the north, I will say there have been some power outages that have been popping up on an isolated basis. Taking a look at velocities, I'm not seeing anything super definitive on wind. They're not particularly widespread, but could be lightning or something of that nature. Again, there has been on and off lightning here in the stratiform rain. That might be causing that, or maybe some gusty or subsevere wind gusts as well. We're keeping an eye on it. I'm not seeing anything massive right now, but something we are keeping an eye on is some localized power outages further to the north. Like around the Great Kent County, we're seeing some outages. Seeing a few outages in Mecosta County, Newaygo County. Again, nothing too major yet, but just something we are watching. All right, if you are in a central, if you were in the previous warning in Berrien County for St. Joseph, Soda, Stevensville area, Bridgman, that warning has been expired. We still have our severe thunderstorm warning in effect for southeastern Berrien County and western Cass County for the next 27 minutes until 3:45 p.m. Tom is saying we are under severe thunderstorm warning until 8 p.m. Here was any more storms after 8 p.m. I will correct you. You're not under a severe thunderstorm warning in Battle Creek. I do know Calhoun County did accidentally send out some inadvertent alerts earlier. However, there's no severe thunderstorm warning currently in effect. This is a severe thunderstorm watch you are under in Calhoun County in Battle Creek until 8 p.m. In fact, let me see. I did hear on the back end. Okay, that was just a marginal risk excessive rainfall. Okay. So again, you're not under any severe thunderstorm warnings in Calhoun County, just a severe thunderstorm watch. And to answer your question about after 8 p.m., there is a possibility we may see some more storms develop. However, confidence in that is very low. And even if they were to develop, there is a chance they could turn strong to severe if they were to develop. But I think confidence in that is very low. And this rain and all the stratiform rain activity is eating up the instability available. And I am just not certain if we're going to be able to recover in time for those storms to get too out of hand. So yes, there is the possibility of additional storms tonight, but I think overall confidence of that is low. And if we do see them, whether they turn severe or not, again, confidence overall is low. Again, unfortunately, with the pattern we've been in, confidence in any particular setup has been very low. And unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on the way you look at it, this setup it looks like may be getting away without this setup verifying its full potential. Which is good news, of course. We don't need widespread wind damage or anything like that, what we were initially looking at the data this morning. Taking a look at velocities, we are still seeing some signs of gusty winds here, mainly entering Cass County at this point, east of Niles near the Edwardsburg area, right along US 12, especially east of M60 is where we're seeing this. This is going to be Beebe Road, I think that is. Again, right along US 12 is where we're still seeing some gusty wind potential. I will mention, just off to our south, I do see we have a tornado warning. This is going to be northern Indiana, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but south of the South Bend area, we do have a tornado warning, just for one of those spin-ups along the line. And again, we do still technically have a tornado possible tag in place across southeastern Berrien and western Cass counties. Taking a look at velocities, I'm not seeing anything imminent in terms of a tornado threat. We're watching things still just in case, but think tornado chances with this, at least right now, are looking relatively low. If there's going to be severe weather, it's going to be in form of damaging straight line winds. Up to 60 miles per hour. And really looking at velocities, I think things may end up just being just below that threshold. But nonetheless, gusty winds likely moving into the Edwardsburg area over the next few minutes, along with heavy rainfall and some cloud ground lightning. All right, for those of you further to the north, again, we're not super concerned about severe weather, really north of I-94 at this point. We're not really super concerned about severe weather. Again, it's not zero. We still have active severe thunderstorm watches in place. But this activity right here is really starting to look like just a heavy rainfall threat at this point, along with occasional cloud to ground lightning. But not really seeing a whole lot to be concerned about in terms of a severe threat up here. What we are concerned about is heavy rainfall. Again, we'll go back to some of the products we were looking at earlier. Here's 1 hour precip. And we are seeing areas, especially across southwestern Newaygo and the far eastern Muskegon County. We are seeing radar indications approaching 4 inches. That's with, or over 4 inches, in fact. This is within 1 hour. Keep that in mind. This is within 1 hour. That is, don't get me wrong, we needed the rain, but that much in 1 hour, that may tend to cause some minor flooding issues. We don't have any flood advisories in effect or anything, at least yet locally, but it is still raining in some of these areas, relatively heavy as well. If that continues, I would not be surprised to start seeing some flood advisories being issued eventually, mainly across Muskegon, into potentially northeastern Ottawa, back through Kent County, maybe into Ionia County as well. We're seeing some heavier rainfall. That is something we'll be continuing to watch in the short term as well. The severe threat with this activity is relatively low. Not zero, but relatively speaking on the low side. Again, our only active severe thunderstorm warning at this point is in effect for southeastern Berrien County and western Cass County. That does continue for the next 20 minutes and is primarily for 60 mile per hour wind gusts and nickel size hail with a potential tornado possible tag. With the tornado possible tag meaning that we are still watching, although I'm not seeing anything extremely imminent in terms of a tornado potential. We'll still be watching just in case. Again, we are also watching storms back over the lake as well. They are tending to move to the south and south-southeast. And if that continues, that looks to be moving into the same general areas that were impacted by these storms. We may be watching for another round of potential strong to severe thunderstorms, mainly across far southwest lower Michigan again. So Berrien County in particular is where we'd be watching for this if it does indeed take place, if these storms do indeed make it. Primary concerns again would be the potential for damaging wind gusts and maybe some hail, along with heavy downpours and frequent lightning. Again, focusing on our severe warned storm, storms passing through Niles, through Bertrand, through Edwardsburg and Granger. If you're in Pokagon, Cassopolis, Dowagiac, especially Dowagiac, I think the worst of this may have passed to your south. You'll still want to remain inside as we are still detecting lightning in the area, at least from this particular storm. And then we'll have to also watch what these storms over the lake right now tend to do is they tend to move through as well. Just in case those are strong to severe as they come in as well. Again, we do have special marine warnings in effect currently for winds over 34 knots and small hail. There's also quite a bit of lightning being produced with these storms, and we do have severe thunderstorm warnings on the other side of the lake there in Wisconsin, including the Milwaukee metro area. So we are watching these storms as well. Again, this would primarily be a far southwestern lower Michigan issue if we do see this additional round of storms over the next little bit. Looks like we are letting some additional special marine warnings go. And, okay. You are at Edwardsburg right now. This is mainly southwestern Cass County. That is where the strongest part of the storms are moving in now. Take a look at velocities, though. I'm not really seeing anything super impressive. About 2,000 to 2,500 feet up from the radar, I'm only seeing 30 mile per hour velocities or so. If that trend continues, I am not sure they're going to extend the severe thunderstorm warning further east. Newest scan coming in again. Still not really looking all that impressive, so I'm not certain they're going to extend the warning eastward. And even the reflectivity presentation with these particular storms are kind of losing their reflectivity presentation as well. So these storms, I do think, may tend to be on a weakening trend. I do want to go ahead and we're going to track these storms currently over the lake. We're going to track these off to the south and southeast. They're moving south and southeast at around 55 miles per hour. If they hold together, they may move on the shore into portions of Berrien County. We're taking into the Shoreham area around 4:26 p.m., Stevensville around 4:29 p.m., Bridgman at 4:33 p.m., the New Troy area at 4:38 p.m., New Buffalo Township at 4:41 p.m., Galion area at 4:44 p.m., and Michigan City, Indiana at 4:46 p.m. Again, that is if these storms do hold together, which so far they seem to be. But we've also had these storms that may have ate up some of the instability as well. So whether these storms make it and severe limits remains to be unseen. We'll have a little bit of a time still to decide that. And they have updated our severe thunderstorm warning for Cass and for Berrien and Cass counties, I should say. Mainly took out a few areas like Berrien Springs, Dowagiac, Pokagon, areas just west of Cassopolis as well. You are been removed from the severe thunderstorm warning. This mainly continues for a small section of southeastern Berrien and a small section of southwestern Cass County for the next few minutes. For the next 15 minutes, as a matter of fact. This is mainly for the continued potential of 60 mile per hour wind gusts and nickel-sized hail. They are also still maintaining the tornado possible tag. I will say the tornado possible tag at this point, I think maybe more for these storms down more in the northern Indiana. Because really taking a look at things locally, I mean, there still might be some gusty winds towards the Edwardsburg and Bertrand areas. However, near the state line. However, I'm not really seeing anything super impressive that sticks out to me as term. This is definitely damaging winds or definitely rotation or anything like that. So if that trend continues, I do not think we will see warnings extended further into our area, which would mainly be more southern Cass County at this point. And it's not zero. That decision is ultimately up to the National Weather Service. But just based on the trends I'm seeing personally, I think our severe threat, at least temporarily, may be winding down. at least from these storms. We still have to watch these storms over the lake as well, just in case they move in and are strong and severe as well. Again, similar story to before. These storms may tend, worst of them may tend to stay offshore of us and move more into northwestern Indiana, maybe northeast Illinois, but they may tend to clip portions far southwestern lower Michigan, mainly Berrien County is my particular area of focus as of right now. Again, that would probably be within the next hour or two if they were to make it in. And again, focusing further to the north, along the I-96 corridor, there's really not a whole lot to be concerned about here other than heavy rainfall, which we may have to start watching for ponding on the roadways and localized areas of flooding. As terms of severe weather with these, I'm really not seeing a whole lot to be concerned about. Not seeing anything concerning on velocities. Take a look at, go to our rotation tracker. Oops, what did I do? Kind of glitch there. There we go. There we go. Just a little glitch in the software, but what I'll say is all of this, not really seeing a severe threat with this. This is just heavy rainfall, occasional crowd-to-ground lightning strikes. But the severe threat with this is very, very, very low at this point. And we're mainly hanging out here for the next 12 minutes or so, mainly waiting to see if the National Weather Service is going to extend the severe thunderstorm warning further to the east, which would include more of Cass County, particularly southern portions of the county, if they are going to. Take a look at some new information. Getting some new information in here. Okay, that is for Northern Indiana. Okay, that was an update to the tornado warning here in Northern Indiana. So if you are in Edwardsburg right now, you're still in this stronger complex of showers and thunderstorms. And I'm not really seeing a whole lot to be concerned about here, just heavy downpours. Taking a look at velocities, yeah, there might be some gusty winds in here. However, I think the chances of them being severe threshold is looking relatively low. And we do continue to see, at least in my general opinion, a general weakening trend. We are seeing maybe some gustier winds southwest of there, west of the Granger area. That will be moving in over the next couple of areas. It's right along the state line. However, that will tend to move southeast and likely move out of our area over the next little bit. Eric is asking, will that storm over Lake Michigan impact the southwest corner or stay over the lake? I will say, with its track, it may tend to impact portions of the southwest corner of the state. However, whether it makes it here and straddle the severe threshold currently remains to be seen. Again, we've had storms pass over this area already, so that may tend to limit the intensity of these particular storms. However, taking a look at some of our other products on these, we are seeing, at least on the Northern Indiana radar, we are seeing some heavier winds up there. However, this is very high up from the radar. That is about 10 to 11,000 feet. And looking at Grand Rapids radar, which has a closer scan of it, Not really seeing a whole lot to be concerned about at the moment with these. A few other radars we could look at. We could look at the Milwaukee radar. We could take a look from Chicago. And looking from Chicago, things seem to generally be below the severe threshold for now. We do continue with special marine warnings for them for these storms, mainly at this point for wind gusts greater than 34 knots and small hail. Much the Milwaukee one is large hail, or Grand Rapids one is small hail. So we'll keep, and I will say reflectivity might be toning down just a little bit with them. We're still seeing frequent lightning with them though. So what I'll say, Eric, is we're keeping an eye on them. If they do move in and are severe, and if we happen to go off air, if we don't get a new warning here shortly, I may go ahead and take a quick break. I have been on for over 2 hours, so I'm probably going to go ahead and take a quick break once we get this warning out here, as long as we don't get any new warnings. Of course, we're not going anywhere. We'll keep an eye on these storms behind the scenes, of course. If they are severe, of course, we'll come back here and we'll have additional coverage as needed. Also, when the new SPC outlook comes out around 4, do you think we will still be in the enhanced risk? That remains to be seen. I tend to think we'll definitely see it trimmed at this point. I definitely think we'll definitely see at least some of our northern areas be trimmed from it. Now, do I think they'll completely remove a severe risk? No. Again, we do have, if you missed our impromptu live briefing earlier this morning from our morning severe weather coverage, some models did continue to indicate an additional round of storms, potentially later, potentially this evening. However, even if those do develop and were severe, those are unlikely to be as the potential for significant severe weather, which fortunately did not seem to transpire here. But even if we did see that, it would be more marginal variety severe weather, like your gusty winds, hail, and maybe a very low-end tornado threat. But even that is looking uncertain at this point, and that would require more nowcasting. That has been the general theme the last couple of days, is nowcasting, because models have not done a great job handling this pattern, unfortunately. That just comes with the nature of forecasting these summertime patterns. So again, we'll keep an eye on it, Eric. But we'll have to see what the Storm Prediction Center decides to do here in the next little bit. And we still technically have a severe thunderstorm warning for the next 5 minutes across southeastern Berrien and southwestern Cass counties. Although I do not think they're going, taking a look at radar, I am doubting they're going to extend one further east at this point, because now that we're closer to the radar, the velocities near the state line, they just don't look that impressive. The more impressive velocities continue to really be south at this point, where we still have tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings further to the south. We're still watching this northern activity, just in case, but even that's not looking. All right, I will say this. We are watching this near the Coopersville area. I just want to touch on this. Our radar system is detecting what may be a little bit of rotation near the Coopersville area. Just east of the Coopersville area. This is going to be in northeastern Ottawa County. Near Coopersville, our system is detecting what might be a little bit of weak rotation there. Taking a look at some of our other products, definitely a little bit of rotation in there. Take a look at the debris tracker. I'm not seeing any definite tornado debris or anything like that, but just we are watching what could be a little bit of a circulation that has developed just east of the Coopersville area. It's going to be just north of I-96. In the area of Cleveland Street and 48th North 48th Avenue is where we're seeing this. It's kind of near the 76 Diner in Coopersville, right off the exit 19, I-96 exit 19. Taking a look at it though, it's not really, and in fact the signal just went away. So if there was something, it was a relatively brief signal and not really much to really be concerned about at the moment. We'll continue to keep an eye on it. And taking a look at our severe thunderstorm warning, that does expire in 3 minutes. I don't have an update from the Weather Service on it. However, I do not think we'll be seeing warnings extended further to the east. If we were going to see a new warning further to the east, I think that would be issued by now. And reflectivity continues to decrease on it. So I do think we're seeing a general weakening trend. And even up here, this activity, I think we're starting to see a little bit of a weakening trend as well. I do have a new update to pass along from the National Weather Service in Grand Rapids when it comes to our severe thunderstorm watch. I can go ahead and take radar off just for a moment. If you are in Gratiot County, Isabella County, Mecosta, Macomb, Newaygo, and Oceana counties, you have been dropped from the severe thunderstorm watch. So again, Gratiot, Isabella, Mecosta, Macomb, Newaygo, and Oceana counties, you have been dropped from the severe thunderstorm watch. The watch does continue for the I-96 corridor and point south. Excuse me. So that's going to be areas like so from Muskegon to Grand Rapids to Lansing and point south. You're still in the severe thunderstorm watch until 8 p.m. But if you are in Gratiot, Isabella, Mecosta, Macomb, Newaygo, and Oceana counties, you have been dropped from the severe thunderstorm watch. And I say the reason they are continuing our severe thunderstorm watch for the I-96 corridor south is likely just to cover these storms currently moving across the Lake Michigan. As for our severe thunderstorm warning, for Berrien and Cass counties, that is expiring within the next 30 seconds or so. They did extend a new warning, but that is way further south of the state line at this point, mainly east of Plymouth, Indiana, is where they're extending this severe thunderstorm warning. And this activity up here is not really much of a concern at the moment. So, assessing the situation before we begin to scale back coverage for now. Taking one more assessment of the situation as our severe thunderstorm warning drops off momentarily for Berrien and Cass counties. As that drops off, so we're going to have no active severe thunderstorm warnings locally, at least for the moment. We are continuing to monitor these storms over the lake as they continue to move to the south and southeast. If they do hold together and move on shore, this would likely be within the next hour or so. They may carry another, at least low-end severe threat, mainly in the form of damaging winds and hail. Again, this would again be for the same areas that were impacted by the initial strong to severe storms this afternoon across southwest Michigan. So mainly Berrien County, maybe western Van Buren County, into Cass County, potentially. But whether these storms make it to severe limits in this area remain very uncertain, mainly due to the storms you already had in the area that may have limited the instability available for these storms to work with. Again, we still have severe thunderstorm watches in effect for the I-96 corridor from Muskegon to Grand Rapids to Lansing and Point South. You do continue with a severe thunderstorm watch until 8 p.m., but once you get away from this complex, watching these storms up towards the I-96 corridor, we're not really seeing anything imminently concerning. We were watching and are still watching what could be a little bit of broad rotation across northeastern Ottawa County, kind of near the Allendale area around Coopersville. We're still watching this area of weak rotation. Not seeing anything in terms of tornado debris or anything like that. But we'll keep an eye on this in the short term as well, just in case it does spin up a little bit tighter and the National Weather Service has to put some kind of warning on it. I think chances of that are relatively low, but not zero, and we'll continue to keep an eye on things behind the scenes here over the next little bit. And once you get north of I-96, the rain and storms is beginning to depart, and we will be watching just in case this activity along this activity in the UP right now, we will be watching just in case we see additional development off to the north that may move south. That would be later this evening if it was to happen. Confidence in that occurring is relatively low, however, but we will continue to watch that for later this evening. But at this point, I think what we're really seeing here, at least for the short term, for the very short term, is our severe threat winding down. We are continuing to watch this line over the lake as it moves to the south and southeast, just in case we do see additional warnings in the short term for far southwest lower Michigan. With that said, I am going to go ahead and take a break. I'm not going anywhere, though. We'll still be here behind the scenes watching things. And if we do have to come back on for additional severe weather coverage, we will do so. But at this time, I am going to go ahead and wrap things up for now. Thank you for tuning in for this severe weather coverage. Fortunately, it looks like so far we may be escaping the worst of the severe weather, but we'll still be here monitoring things at least through 8 p.m. when the severe thunderstorm watch is allowed to expire. Again, thank you for tuning in with us here. Again, feel free to like this stream on your way out or share the stream as well. To help us reach more West Michigan with our severe weather coverage and forecast information. Again, thank you for tuning in with us. On behalf of Jonah Drake and Bryce Wilson, this is Jacob Melton, live here of West Michigan Weather. Again, thank you for sticking with us, and again, stay tuned to West Michigan Weather. We'll keep you advised of the weather situation as necessary.